This is Trophy the Scoundrel's Quarter, Part 16. We are down Amanda today, but that's probably just as well for Amanda since we're going to be doing Hearthfire in the beginning. And of course, Amanda has no character to do Hearthfire with, regrettably, if you saw the last episode. Um, so, speaking of poor belated Magda, we do need to divide up her spoils. And so I will review the things that Magda has on or had on the body. 2 gold worth of cash, so that's something. Glowing crystal organs, total worth 3 gold. Some salt pork, some leather armor, Banaz blue priest robe, a beast bitten skull, bone gnasher teeth worth 1 gold, and a crystal mirror rose worth 1 gold. Also, you I don't know if you intend to like bury Magda with her armor and stuff, or if you intend to also take that as well.
I imagine we left it with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can raid the rest of her corpse, but
Yeah.
leave her with a
Actually,
decency.
Jack, you are back to being like kind of tinny sounding. Maybe check your
Ah,
audio one more time.
all right.
Um, and so, yeah, who has thoughts on what they want to take of the found equipment? And also, there's also the bottle of fine wax, the signet ring and wax, the backpack equipment, basically, as well as cash.
Something that I didn't hear mentioned, but I do remember she having was a vial of starlight that she won at the games. Is that also up for grabs? Or
Yeah, it's very valuable
that's
too.
the only thing that I would like to formally request, but otherwise I'm good to split whatever.
You can absolutely take the vial of starlight. It's worth 2 gold. So
I think Cassian would appreciate the sword if no one else is going to take her sword.
you can certainly do that. No one objects.
I have no need of it, so yeah.
Masterwork longsword. What about all this other stuff? The bone gnasher teeth, crystal mirror rose.
I think I'm quite interested in taking the skull of the beast bitten.
That sounds
Friend of yours?
good.
I'll take the bone gnasher teeth.
Very
I'll
good.
take the rose.
What about these glowing crystal organs that came from this strange interdimensional creature that you destroyed?
Want to split them up?
You can split them up. Yeah, one gold each. And if there's nothing else, it's basically all the valuable stuff. There's also just the cash. So there's 2 gold worth of cash as well.
Don't mind taking some of it. You want to split it, Cassian?
Sure. Magda would want us to have it.
Should want you to have it.
Let's make sure we're taken care of.
So we're going to do Hearthfire. Let's first do meeting burdens. I think that's the first thing we have to kind of satisfy here. And I think we said that Torum is not subject to burdens right now. So Torum, anything you have right now is just pure to spend. You don't have to worry about burdens. I will say, though, that if you ended up with a magic item at the end and you keep it, that increases your burdens by 1 right now. And you indeed do have 2 magic items at the moment that you got last time. Actually, 3. You got the porcelain compass, you got Lady Peril's ring, and the polished hand mirror that can show things not seen by the eye. Each of those things is actually worth 2 gold. So if you don't want to keep them, if you do want to keep them, for each one you keep, it does bump up your burdens by 1.
Okay, I definitely don't need the compass because it's only really useful in the palace. Remind me again, what does Lady Peril's ring do?
It helps you with illusions.
I really want to I definitely want to keep the mirror. I like that.
Yeah, it was
I think
handy
I'm
in a
going to keep the
pinch.
mirror and I'm
Sell
going to
the
keep
others.
the mirror and the ring. So I'll risk the bumping my burdens up too.
Okay, sounds good. And you can sell the you can then like go ahead and just make the compass worth 2 gold.
Sure.
And otherwise, you've got all your, I mean, your money is just to be spent. Malkuth, you have 5 burdens. Are you able to meet it?
Yes, I've got 3 gold, and then I'm going to sell the glowing orbs and the bone asher teeth.
Sounds good. And let me see what you might have picked up that would be considered a magic item. For you, it's just the vial of starlight. If you want to keep that, it increases your burdens by 1.
Okay. And when if and when I use it, they go back down then, right?
So it's unclear if it's totally consumed or not. It might be a permanent magic item. Who knows?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But while you have it, while it's a thing you can use, yeah, your burdens go up. But
Yeah.
if it does go away, they go down again. Kazian, are you able to meet your burdens of 5?
I am, yes.
Okay, very good. Did you end up with any magic items at the end?
Note just the candle that I've had for a while.
Oh yeah, okay. Great. So now we are going to go into Hearthfire. So at this point, we'll do Hearthfire. This is your opportunity to lower your ruin. If you have a household, you can go ahead and lower your ruin by 1 and clear any conditions you wish. Torum, if you wish to establish a household, you may do so now.
I think I'm going to hold on until next time.
Okay, sounds good.
So I'll spend a gold to heal myself, heal the ruin.
All right, sounds good. Malkuth and Cassian, do you have households?
No.
Yes.
I'm crashing with Cassian.
Okay, very good. So Malkuth or Cassian, you can lower your ruin by 1, and you also get to keep a memento from the Rhyme Palace. What'd you keep?
Is the mask worth anything to sell?
Yeah, it's worth a gold.
What did I keep? Let's say he took one of the pieces of Saint's Tower
Okay,
that
Saint's
he
Tower
played
piece.
with.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. You can add that to your household decor. And so Malkuth, you have 4 ruin, and you do not have a household presently. Are you going to lower your ruin by doing healing, either one of the freebies, or spending money?
Nope. I'm going to put more money in my hoard.
Okay. So then how are you going to get your ruin lowered? You're just going to keep it 4?
Yes.
Okay. And
Living on the edge.
living on the edge. Let's go around the table then and figure out what else everyone's going to do for Hearthfire. Torum, anything else you want to do for Hearthfire?
I guess I have to do the prompts for stashing my hoard.
If you have extra gold, yeah. If you keep it as items, you don't have to do that. But if you have any like extra, excess money, you have to spend it or put it in your hoard.
Is the costume that I was given worth any money to sell?
It is. It's worth 2 gold.
Even better. So I have 4 gold. So I guess I'm going to stash that in my hoard. Come back to me because I'm just going to read through the other options as well.
Sounds good.
Anything I want to do.
Malkuth, are you doing anything in Hearthfire besides stashing?
Yeah, I'm taking a look right now. I think now that my burdens have gone up, I don't want to take on too much more. So I might actually spend 1 gold for healing 1 ruin. Yeah. So I'm going to sell 6 gold worth of items, and I'll put 5 in my hoard and spend 1 for healing.
Okay, wow. Okay, great. You get to pick an option from your hoard list to do.
All right. let me see if that's still available. But I think I'm going to narrate a flashback to a triumph related to my occupation.
Okay, cool. It is still available.
Yes. So I will do that. So I think he's going back to the well that he's using as his hoard. He's going to drop the 5 gold down there, and I think when he's down there, he's taking the moment of quiet away from everybody, even the rest of the Scoundrel's Quarter. Just you can probably hear it off in the distance a fair bit, but down here it's still relatively quiet and calm. This is his sort of place where he can center himself. But I think as he's down here, he's reminiscing about those times in the dark with his brothers in the chain, and he's remembering a particularly treacherous delve into some mines not too far off from Amberette. And I think he's remembering, thankfully, due to his sort of his, it's awkward. He's relatively tall compared to a lot of other miners, but he's thinner, so he's able to sort of maneuver in that way. But I think he's remembering a time when, during this mining expedition, there was a tremor, rather intense tremor. What caused it, he's still not sure. Some of the miners thought it might have been ghosts. Some of them might have thought it was possibly just creatures from the underground moving about. But thankfully, because he was so tall and quick compared to a lot of the others, he managed to save at least about 3 or 4 other miners from collapse as he was able to shuffle them out and guide them to safety. And I think being down there and remembering that sort of centers him a bit. And despite the fact that I think he still feels a little bit guilty about what happened with Mana and what happened with Magda, I think that he's feeling a little bit less depressed about losing these people, because he knows that he's capable of being a good person when he needs to, and he's capable of saving people if he can and when he needs to.
Fantastic, thank you. Did you mark all your gold in your hoard?
I'm doing that right now.
What does that put you at now?
So right now I am at
17.
15, 17.
Yeah, that's great. Awesome. Okay. Cassian, anything else you want to do?
I will clear out a extra used up equipment and also planning on healing.
Oh, fantastic. Have you named your shopkeeper yet?
I have not.
Okay, you get to name your shopkeeper and come up with their secret. You can do that whenever you're ready. You don't have to do it right this moment, but at some point. And so you have opened up one of your slots. That's great. And then what was the other thing you wanted to do?
I'll use one of the free healing actions.
Okay, yeah. Which one are you going to do?
I think the private side that few others see. And I think what it is simply is Cassian communing with the forest, with the old one of the forest. It's something that he is very private about, especially given the social attitudes towards worship of anything not the sisters. But and I think it's something he only takes part in when he knows that Malkuth isn't going to be around for a while. But I think we see him at the edge of the forest, sitting, allowing his thoughts to clear, listening to the wind through the trees, the way the branches bend and creak. And this one time, when he's far away from everyone, when he's alone in the forest, after everything that has happened, he allows himself for just a minute to break. And it's not just Magda, it's not just Bana, it's definitely not Tekla. It's everything that has happened to him since he left the Kingsguard. And when he's had that moment, he straightens up, wipes his face, and goes back to his apartment.
Fantastic, thank you. Were you going to stash any of your treasure in hoard?
Oh, I do have one left.
I mean, you have to if you don't
Yeah.
spend it. So,
Yep.
All
We're going to
right.
hoard up to 3.
Up to the impressive 3. A man of the woods, that's all you need, right?
Yep.
You do get to pick one of your little hoard options. Be looking at that. I'm going to check in with Torm. Torm, are you stashing hoard?
I am, yes. So I spent 1 gold to heal a ruin, and then I'm stashing 4.
Okay, sounds good. The first time you stash gold in your hoard, complete both of the following. Where do you keep your hoard so no one can find it? In this new place of Fort Durin.
Yeah, I think the first time Torm arrives there, he kind of spends a couple of days walking around the town, exploring, meeting people. And one place that he returns to is on the edge of town, in between the town and where the forest begins. There is an area where some cattle are pastured. And near there, he finds a tree, like a hollow lightning-struck tree. And inside of that, he spends some time sitting by that tree, just watching the relatively peaceful scene. And yeah, stashes his hoard inside the hollow trunk of this dead lightning-struck tree.
Your drive is to attend Countess Shima's forbidden festival. Please narrate a flashback to the moment that became important to you.
Thorin was a bodyguard, is a bodyguard, and one of his previous jobs was for a rich noble in a city who once hosted an event that included some guests from the Fey realm, and the glimpses that Torm caught of the festivities that went on were something he was unable to get out of his mind. And just the contrast between his bulk and raw strength and the grace and beauty of these guests and the dancing that they performed is something that just was like an ache in his heart, and that he's always longed to recapture.
Very nice. Thank you. I think that's probably it for Hearthfire, unless there's something I'm forgetting or somebody has thought of something.
Yeah, I was wondering, and it's totally fine if not, but I was wondering if I could take my gold back into my hoard and just narrate a scene instead of spending the gold on my healing.
Oh, you mean you don't want to heal then after all, or you
Well,
want
no,
to?
I want to heal, but from what maybe I'm not reading this right, but I can either spend the gold to heal, or I can
Or you
check.
can do one of the free ones. Yeah, yeah. Those free ones, once they're gone forever. But
Yeah.
yeah, you can certainly do that. That's fine.
Okay. So instead of spending the gold, I'm going to narrate a scene showing a truly beautiful place in or near town. And I think that despite the the modest living quarters that Cassie and I share, this weird infested apartment, I think on the roof it's actually a rather tall apartment complex, and on the roof he's actually sort of it's probably around nighttime, and he's able to see above the trees. He's able to see more clearly the star speckled nightscape. And I think when he's on top of here, he's lying down and flat on his back on the roof. He's got his egg on his belly, and I think he's letting sort of some of the star shine as much as it can shine down. But when he's also up there looking at the stars, looking at the different constellations, seeing which ones he can remember from his childhood, he's also clipping. He's sort of created like a fasten, like a closure for the top of the vial of starlight, so they can clip it to his papoose, so that it's always next to the egg, so it's always getting saturated with starlight.
Nice. I like it. It's great. All right.
I have a just a small horde input narrative.
Yeah, go for it.
I think it's very simple. We see him in Fort Durin. He's lived here for a few years, but his occupation as a naturalist has been more about learning the ways of the forest than actually trying to make any coin from it. But when a woman approaches him because her daughter has run into the forest and has gone missing, that's when he realizes that he can do something with this for others. And so his personal triumph is tracking this girl for hours until he finds her just at the edge of a deeper, a darker part of the forest and manages to return her. And for the first time in a while, he feels good about doing something, not just for himself or his own survival.
Wonderful. Thank you. It has been months since the events of the Rhyme Palace. Indeed, the Rhyme Palace, the Gossamer Void, it's a slippery thing. It often fades from your memory as if the whole thing was just a strange, cold dream. But you're occasionally reminded of it when you look upon Lady Peril's ring, for example, or the fine raiment that you might have kept from that fateful evening at the Rhyme Court Nobles Ball. Obviously, no one forgets Magda. That is your constant reminder of the Rhyme Palace. But the months following the Rhyme Palace have been all about slinking back into the mundanity of Fort Durin, of Caldur, of the forest, whenever you probe the edges of it. Maybe you even take a trip to Ambaret every now and then. Even the most fabulous parts of the Rose District of Ambaret barely meet the strange, alluring grandeur of what you remember the Rhyme Palace to be. You may never again reach a place so fantastical, and if not for these little things that anchor it in your memory, as I said, it might as well have been a dream. But there is pleasure in mundanity. For example, north of Fort Durin, nestled between rocky hills and scraggling crags, sits the village of Kevir. Between its squat brown buildings and sour-faced folk, Kevir would be a rare choice for travelers such as you, were it not for its unique harvest. Once a year, the blackberry brambles that stretch out over the rocky hills spring to life, and the village is transformed by laughter, if only for a day. We remember all the harvests that came before this one in Kevir. Each harvest is a bright spot in the drab lives of these people. As the three of you arrive to enjoy this celebration, just as you arrive in Kevir, a joyous fiddle breaks the morning air, and a bard's song weaves amongst the good cheer of excited children. You've had plenty of time to relax. You've been on no adventures. You maybe haven't even been in much contact with each other. I suppose Cassian and Malkuth are because they live in the same place. But I have a feeling that Cassian especially is the type that doesn't hang around Fort Durin for great big stretches of time. How has the months of relative peace and relaxation reflected in your current state?
I think that uh, the last few months haven't been perhaps as relaxing for Cassian as they could have been, because he has been spending a lot of time in and around Amberette for reasons that he has never gone into. But he has had a fair bit of time to practice with his wooden hand, and his movements with it are almost entirely natural now. It's almost like it is a part of him in a way that it hadn't been when we last saw him. Also, he's gotten better with the sword again. He's been out of practice, but
I think Malkuth has used a lot of the downtime to refine one of his other hobbies, which is tattooing. And since Vanah left as the former keeper of the bestiary, and since Malkuth is not the best at writing, he has been tattooing and documenting the different creatures per the request of the other bestiary archivists. And so he's just been spending the time doodling on himself, essentially, and writing letters to back home. And when and I also imagine he's also been tending to Magda's goats, which were left behind. He's also been sneaking butter into the house when Cadian's not around to enjoy. But yeah, I think he's just been mostly doing tending to his body with the tattoos.
Torum?
I think Torum spent his time just getting to know Fort Durin and exploring the fringes of the forest. So he's perhaps not as relaxed as some of the others. He's watchful and still learning the ways of this place. But he has been, I think he's been quite visible around Fort Durin and, made himself useful in various ways to some of the inhabitants.
Whoever's managing the map, I believe that's still Ben. The character is now presently in Kevir. You can mark that if you wish, coming directly off of. Well, I'll see if I can put a little mark, and if I can, you can then just change it around. I don't know how though. But basically, if you
double click, it'll open up the drawing.
Oh, okay. Oh, very good. Great. I'm going to put a little mark, and you can then change it as you wish. But basically, it's going to be like right here. Can you see that little blue square or that blue rectangle that I put? I have to save it, I think.
Yep.
Okay. That's where Kevir is. And so you can make a path from Fort Durin to there. Kevir, Kevir. This Blackberry Festival is you've probably been to dozens of these little village festivals, in all this time. It's kind of one of the rare pleasures of this land, going and seeing how locals celebrate their local harvests or their weird little regional gods. Painting the scene, in what ways do the people of Kevir celebrate the blackberry harvest? Like, what sorts of activities or things do they do? And what do you in particular engage in while you're there?
I think we see a group of the villagers. They have like a big open half barrel thing full of blackberries, and they're just with flagons of some kind of liquor, drinking and stomping in these blackberries barefoot, so they're, the bottom, their feet and bottom half of their legs are just all stained with the juices, and then people kind of go around playing pranks on each other by like sticking a blackened footprint on people's doors or on the side of a cow or those kind of things.
You'll often see revelers, their lips and their jaws are just kind of black and purple color because you always got to have a pie eating contest, and they excel at those. There are different categories for different age groups and different kinds of pies. I think Malkuth maybe got into one, and so he's also been walking around with the jaw covered in blackberry juice and whatever kind of pie filling they made. But he did not win.
I think to the occasional delight and usual terror of the children of the town, there is a mascot to this festival, and it's someone in a bear suit that has been used for many years, and it shows. And whoever is in it now is chasing the children around with a basket of berries to try and smear some on their face.
The afternoon is a hot one. You refresh yourself with flagons of blackberry ale and games and food to refresh your spirit. It's a nice time. The people of Kevir have strange little beliefs, as every yokel in every village does. One interesting observation you might make in this harvest celebration is that the children and adults do not carry a pail for picking berries into the great bramble where the berries are grown. They only take back to the village what they can carry in their hands. For pity on those fools who fill their pockets or smuggle their bounty home in a sack. They're very particular about that. But the temptation to traverse the brambles always seems worth the risk. You've already heard that deep within the bramble, there is a berry with juice so dark and sweet that a single drop is more delicious than the whole bramble put together. The three of you are getting dozy, drowsy from blackberry wine, and people of Kevir found you interesting at first because you're outsiders, but now you're just three other drunken revelers among the crowd. Somewhere else in Kevir, children are speaking of reaching the heart of the bramble. In fact, every few years, a group of kids attempts it, and they always come back in failure. This year, there's a group of kids who feel better about their chances, a trio of children. They, along with a separate group of adults, are heading out now to reach the bramble's heart. We're going to take a 15-minute break so that the three of you can make characters for Blackberry Jam. That is a Trophy Dark incursion. I will need someone to set up that Trophy Dark thing for me, and it has restrictions on the characters. It's like the kid characters that you can play. And I'll see you all in 15. Blackberry Jam. let's meet our berry pickers. We have berry pickers in Blackberry Jam, not treasure hunters. I'm going to go in the order of the sheet. So we're going to introduce the characters by upbringing, personality, whatever skills they might have as a result of those things, whatever their drive is, and then if they have a ritual, which I think might be called something different than this. I can't remember. Let me look. I could be wrong about that, but in any case, yeah, it's called. No, I guess it is rituals. Okay, yeah. Nice. Yeah. Upbringing, personality, drive, rituals. Let's start with Rob and Marto.
Marto's upbringing is estate, which gives him the skills of command, culture, and weapons. So he's a little posh boy. And his personality is leader, which gives him the skill of bullying. His drive is to find his lost sibling. And his one ritual is the devilish thing that allows him to take an entity's memory.
Oh, very interesting. Good, thank you. Jack, tell us about Macero.
Sero, pronouns are he, him. He is a child of the forest, which means his skills are in omens, spirits, and weather. His personality is inquisitive, so he has a skill of crafting. His drive is to run away forever and ever. And he has two rituals. The first is the importance of sharing, which is you can mark one ruin to remove one ruin from someone else, and Whisper of the Forgotten, which is to communicate with the spirit.
And Ben, tell us about Maradi.
Maradi's upbringing is orphanage, and his personality is energetic, giving him the skills brawling, listening, sneaking, and persistence. And his drive is to defy authority. His ritual is in an impertinent phrase, which allows him to speak truth into being.
I love it. Let's just dive right in to ring one of Blackberry Jam. So the three of you have entered the fields. You've all come together after having left the celebrations that day in Kevir. And you encounter some other village children playing among the brambles. The children call you over to play hide and seek, and they're very welcoming until they realize your intent. They know that every few years, a group of kids attempts to find the bramble's heart, and those kids always come back in failure. You're all aware that a group of adults from Kevir have been, during the celebration, not exactly celebrating. They've been planning. These are the kinds of adults that lick their lips and rub their palms together in anticipation. And they have struck out for the bramble as well. No whimsy in their task. So there's this group of other kids that you're playing with. And we have Emma, a girl you know, a girl with a strange demeanor. She's kind of like, like those weird bug girls. She's like one of those weird bug girls. Except she's like a weird berry girl, we'll say. And there's Mahara, who is kind of a pain in the ass. And the other kids, I think, have run off after hide and seek, just leaving Emma and Mahara. Mahara says, I know what you intend to do. You intend to try to go into the heart of the bramble. Of course, I don't expect any better from an orphan boy like you, Maradi. Or you, Macero.
Maradi's going to look up and kind of count on his fingers for a minute and say, you should come with.
I will not come with. No. So I can get in trouble? You're going to get in trouble. We're all going to get in trouble already just from being out here. Marto, you should know better. You should tell your friends to avoid going into the bramble.
Why? Are you scared?
No, I'm not scared, but well, we're not supposed to. And I like to do what I'm supposed to do.
You're not
Well,
supposed to be
well,
this far out, though, but you're here.
I think Emma's been like sitting on the ground, carefully picking stunted berries from the outer edge of the bramble, looking at them quizzically. She says, "One time, I went into the bramble far enough to hear its song. It sings, you know. The bramble has a song. It sings it so softly, and I heard it.
What did it sound like?
It was calling to me. It said, 'Whatever one thinks is at the heart of the bramble, a berry more rich, more juicy than any other, that is just a lie. There is something in the heart of the bramble, but it's not what everyone thinks.'"
Did it say what it was?
you,
No. Mahara says, "That's nonsense. Brambles can't sing."
you see Mahara, she's not scared. Why don't you run along and be a good little boy back with your parents?
Mahara's a girl, to be fair. Mahara says,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, Mahara says, "I am going to run back, and I'm going to tell."
Oh, by all means.
Now, I do think there's a danger of her going to get some adults, and that might prevent you from going deep into the heart of the bramble if you don't stop her. Maradi, what do you do? You're an orphan boy.
I think he's gonna look at her and say, they're not gonna care. They know we're out here.
They know you're out here, but they don't know you're going to try to go deeper into the bramble. Maradi, if you keep
Well,
acting like this, no one's ever going to adopt you.
No one's ever gonna
If
adopt
you
me
tell
anyway.
tales about me, Mahara, you'll be the one that gets in trouble. My father will see to it.
Oh, that's
Then
pretty
they'll give
good.
You up, and you'll live in the orphanage with me.
I like this as a sort
Exactly.
of a little intimidation sort of risk roll here. What do we think could go wrong here if Mardo is unable to intimidate Mahara sufficiently?
I think kids being randomly violent is funny, so I think she'll just sort of sock him in the face and run off.
That feels right.
Yeah, yeah, I'm kind of into that too. Yeah, I don't think I need. I kind of like it. If you have any other ideas, Rob, I'm open to hearing them.
Beyond her calling my bluff.
Yeah. You take a light die if what you're doing is connected to a skill. So you have command, I think, and bullying to some degree. I think they both apply here. So you have your one light die. And now we can all make devil's bargains. My devil's bargain is no matter what, you're stuck with Mahara for the rest of the incursion.
My bargain is that she will, in fact, run off and go fetch someone from your family, and we'll have to deal with that.
As a slight variation on that, she will run off and tell a member of your family, and you will learn they don't really care.
Those are good. But I think I like the idea of Mahara sticking around, tagging along, or being goaded into.
Indeed. You have 2 light dice. I think that's good for now. We don't need a dark die yet.
5.
A 5. There's a complication. I think I'm going to kind of lean into what Ben was sort of suggesting with the complication. She says, Okay, fine, Marto. I won't. I won't go say anything. It wouldn't do any good anyway. Your family doesn't care about you. You're out here playing with a bunch of poor children.
My own choice.
Say that again, Rob. The first part of what you said was cut off.
That's by my own choice.
Is it by your own
Nothing
choice?
to do with my family.
Or is it because no one pays attention to you and your family? Is it because maybe you're the third born son and you're not going to inherit anything?
We'll see. We'll see who inherits what. And whatever it is, I'll inherit more than you, Mahera.
Emma says, none of this matters. None of this matters. Money, status, whether we have parents or don't have parents. All that matters is what lies at the heart of the bramble. And I'm going to find it. And she gets up. And Mahara says, well, I have to stay with her.
Then we'll all go in together.
Fine.
Maradi will think about it for a second and say, I guess her name does start with M.
You are, oh, that's true. Yeah, you'll have M's, don't you? And there's Emma. Huh, that's funny. A thorny blackberry vine. The thorny blackberry vines part easily. And you are able to, slowly, but nevertheless able to make your way into the deep bramble. Mahara is complaining the entire time. Ah, I keep sticking myself on the thorns. Ah, I knew I should have worn long sleeves.
Why didn't you?
She says, that's none of your business. Emma says, I don't mind when the bramble sticks me. And she holds up a hand running with intermingled blackberry juice and blood. I find that it's the bramble's way of expressing its love.
Can I see your hand?
She holds it over to you.
And what I'd like to do is, it's not really a ritual. I don't know if it would constitute like a risk roll, but one of my skills is omen. So I'm trying to see if there's any kind of like omens in the kind of palms, lines, and ley lines.
Yeah, I like that as a risk roll, and to see if you can learn something or find a part of the bramble that you hadn't anticipated. I'm super into it. You can certainly take your first slide die, but let's talk about what could go wrong here. If this goes poorly. Any thoughts?
I think the omen is an omen of your doom.
I think that the omen is an omen of Emma's doom.
Don't think I can top either of those.
Let's talk about dice. Dice. You have your first slide die. I'll make the devil's bargain. No matter what, you will foresee the doom of one of your companions, either the other two berry pickers or Mahara or Emma. You get to hold on to this information, though, and whenever you decide to reveal it, we'll decide what it means at that time.
I'll take it.
You have 2 light dice. Go ahead and roll. Risk 2 light.
4.
I think the complication is that you actually have to like lick the blood berry slurry to get the vision.
Oh yeah, totally. I think I mean, Macero's definitely he's a child with the force, so he's got a little bit of that kind of like creepy, yeah, the village kind of village of the damned kind of vibe going on. So I think he looks up at Emma and holding her hand, and he looks like he's about to just sort of read her palm. But I think he takes out a particularly thick thorn that's pierced her palm and takes it out, and there's this kind of ebbing of blood that mixes up with the blackberry juice in her hand. And I think he just sort of puts his face in it and just takes a very deep drink of it. And in front of everybody else and there's no sort of hesitance on his part. It feels natural to him. And as he's drinking it, he's sort of considering the omen that he's drinking in. And when he lifts his head up, his lips are stained with that sort of dark, ruddy color. And he just looks at her with these kind of dark eyes and says, "Oh, well, that's going to be interesting."
Mahara says, "Gross. Oh, count on a forest boy to do something like that." And for Maradi and Marta, what are you doing?
Maradi's going to
yeah.
get real close to Macero and Emma and say, "What's it taste like?"
"You want to try?" And he just sort of offers up Emma's hand to him.
Okay.
Mahara just like
very
sighs.
delicate lick.
Mahara sighs and stomps off, but not far. And Marta, what are you doing?
I think watching in intrigued disgust at what this child of the forest is doing.
Part of your omen was an omen of death. But not just a death to come, a death that has already happened. Indeed, you come upon that death that has already happened as you proceed deeper into the bramble. You come across another group of children gathered around a corpse. They are using its berry-stained fingers to swat at each other, like they're playing a little game, like he's gonna get you, and they're just flopping this corpse's arm around, Next to the dead figure is a bag containing a few berries of the deepest black that sparkle in the morning sun. Mahara says, "What's that? What's going on there?" What do you all do?
Want to get closer to find out?
Yeah, I think Marta will just march right up and say, "You there? What are you doing?"
And one of the kids looks up and says, "We're just messing around."
And who is that poor person?
Poor. A person who got what was coming to them, if you ask me. They were a runner. Someone, I think they spent the night in the deep bramble. They tried to run and grab the most precious berries, but they didn't make it out alive. And then they kind of kick the body a little bit to show that thorny vines are wrapped deep into the flesh of his neck, wrists, and calves. I would like everyone to make the ruin roll, please.
That's a 6, so mine goes up.
Indeed.
Mine
too.
one.
So Cassian, it says Cassian here, but that's not who you are. Maradi, yours stays.
Yes.
Those of you whose ruin is going up, how do you feel upon seeing that this man, it seems like the bramble killed him, possibly?
I think Marta goes quite white because one of his goals in going into the bramble is that his big sister never came back. And yeah, he wants to find out what happened to her, and this maybe what happened to her.
Poor Macero. His drive is to run away, and seeing this, I think he's realizing the kind of barriers that are between him and getting deeper into the woods. He's seeing how lethal it can be, and I don't think he's as blanched as Mardo is. In fact, I think he sees this as an opportunity to learn more. And while the other kids are sort of talking and messing around with the body, Macero just sort of gets down on hands and knees and starts to crawl up onto the torso of this person, and he just puts his head down onto his chest. And as he does that, he's going to invoke his Whisper of the Forgotten ritual to try and get some information.
Very interesting. Let's talk about conditions, because you both get conditions as well. Mardo, you look up to see someone staring at you from the distance, but deeper in the bramble. It's your sister, except the bramble vines are wrapped around her. They pierce her skin, her eyelids. They wrap tight around her neck. But where blood should be dribbling, it's blackberry juice. And she just mouths the words, not audibly, but you can tell what she's saying. Find me, Mardo. But this is your condition, the appearance of your sister. Sarah, I owe you a condition as well. Your condition as you reach down to talk to this body, to communicate with its spirit, you will be able to do that. I'll give you a roll in a bit. But he has a button on his tongue, some sort of nervous tick of the corpse causes the tongue to extend, showing this button. The button gives you a sense of déjà vu. It's an exact match of the button you keep in your pocket. That's your condition. This button. What does it mean? You can roll to communicate with the spirit.
All right.
Ben, what could go wrong here? Or that's not what we say. What do we say? What could go wrong? Yeah.
The spirit will not stop communicating with you. It's going to be following you, saying nothing of use, but just distracting you and haunting you.
I'll make the devil's bargain. The devil's bargain is, as you're speaking to it, the corpse is going to vomit masticated blackberry goo into your mouth.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You have 2 light dice, and you have to take a dark die because of the ritual.
Yeah.
So
6 on the light.
Oh, 6 light, very good. How does this look like when you communicate with him?
So, as I mentioned, he gets on top of the corpse and just presses his head to the chest as if like listening for a heartbeat. And he's mouthing some incantation. The words aren't familiar to anyone here. And he's whispering it. And as he does, the body sort of starts to shudder and jerk. And the mouth starts to ebb slowly, that blackberry ichor, and Macero knows that it's about to work, so he brings his head up to the mouth of the corpse, and he starts to ask, "What's your name?"
My name is Rosto. I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have tried. I shouldn't have tried to steal from the bramble. I knew what could happen.
What did you see?
There is a gate. There is an adder, a terrible serpent. It cannot leave the gate, but it will try to bargain with you, and it will whisper lies. Do not believe its lies.
Is there anything else that we should know before we go in? What's that? What is that?
And there's just a glut of blackberry spatter and gunk.
Yeah.
It just sprays up into your mouth. I would like for you to roll Ruin.
Fabulous. 6.
Okay, so your Ruin is out to 5, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You are now capable of doing the reduction roll. Mahara is freaking out. She's like, this is all wrong. We should not be doing this. This is all so wrong. Mardo, you have to take charge here.
I'll take charge, but we're carrying on unless you're scared.
Emma takes Mahara's hand and says, don't feel scared, Mahara. If the bramble takes you, it's merely because it sees something in you, something special in you that can enrich the soil, that can feed the vines. Mahara pulls her hand away and stomps off, but not far.
Yes, you hear that, Mahero? You can be fertilizer.
Marathi, what are you doing right now?
I think when the vomiting happened, he will have pushed himself away from where he was very closely examining the corpse. And he's going to kind of start looking at Macero and trying to wipe off some of the gore, and just being like, you can't look, we can't keep going if you're going to keep doing stuff like, why are you this way?
It's what my mother taught me.
You just got vommed on by a dead guy.
He takes some of it from his cheek and it tastes like blackberries.
Really, Masera, that is disgusting. Even for you.
I'm glad sanity is sinking in with someone around here.
We should keep going before it gets too dark. There's a gate that we're supposed to go to.
Oh, you're going to lead them to the gate. I love it.
Yeah, I was hoping that would be part of my reduction.
I'll let you take it. Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Go ahead and roll it.
It's a 5.
Okay, so then your betrayal is not noticed, and it goes down by 1. Or nobody understands the import of what you've said. I think the other kids they're like, if you don't tell that we were playing with a body, we won't tell that you're going into the bramble.
Well, we'll see about that. We'll see about that, but you need to leave it alone now.
They're like, okay, and they like march off. Good luck. We hope you come back alive.
You're coming with us.
They're like, no, we're not. Look at this guy.
Emma, don't you want to come with us?
No, Emma and Mahara are coming. This is
Oh,
the
got it,
group
got
of
it.
kids
Sorry
who are
about
playing
that.
with the corpse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got it. Sorry about that.
That group of kids is like, we're out of here. And they head out. And Emma says, we should keep going. You continue deeper into the bramble. At one point, you come across a spider web so full of prey that it sags. Emma gets really close, examining it curiously. And she, and perhaps you, realize it is not filled with insects, but with plump blackberries, the spiders sucking at the rich nectar in a frenzy. And so passes ring 1. Let's take a 5-minute break. Ring 2. Beyond the paths of the close brambles, all children know of the deep bramble. It is an echoing cacophony within. Birds chirp, beetles click, and the restless vines move in a constant rustle of the wind. The path left by the dead man is a hacked gash through the bramble, canes, and vines oozing into the earth. You hear the nearby thud of a machete against the scrub. The adults who went into the bramble ahead of you, they approach your direction, fighting the bramble at every step. Angry voices, a subordinate protesting the tough path to their superior. These are from Kevir, usually occupying the inn's corner booth as they mutter about the day when they'll take back all the town is lost to the bramble. Most of Kevir can't understand their point of view, for the bramble is a gift to be celebrated, not a curse to be endured. Let's just pick up with the scene with the 5 of you. You hear this. It is kind of approaching your position, these adults. But this path from the dead man is kind of giving you a quicker way into the heart of the bramble, at least another route. Roleplay.
Maradi is going to duck beneath the line of the brambles and just grab any sleeves he can to drag everyone down with him. Shh.
I think Sarah is very much sort of just standing there looking at them in plain sight, but that just sort of gets yanked out of frame by Maradi. Why did you do
Be
that?
quiet. If they see us, they'll send us back.
Exactly.
Mahara says, exactly. We should go find them and have them tell them that we did a foolish thing by coming in here and they can help us get back to the village.
If you dare to open your mouth, Mahara, then I will see your father's run off his land.
As if you even could.
Do you want to try me?
And she kind of like sets her jaw, and Emma says, I think she intends to try you.
That's fine. You can come live with me. It'll be great.
And turn up like him, yes.
She says, like an orphan?
That's exactly what you'll be.
I have parents. I'm no orphan.
Not yet.
I wasn't an orphan once, but they got really mad at me.
If your parents end up in Barcel prison, you'll be as good as an orphan.
You can't get my parents into Barcel prison.
Oh, can't I?
And Mahara is like,
I have a game, Mahara.
Hmm.
And when the others are talking, he's been rustling through his pocket and he pulls out the button. And the button itself it's finely made. It seems to be from maybe like an old soldier, an old noble's garment, jacket or something like that. But it's got like a carved cameo face on one side. Heads, we do what you say. Tails, we keep going.
Okay. Flip.
He flips. He
What?
catches it,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you want me to roll to make it more
Well,
random.
are you trying to
but,
like cheat, or are you trying to like
I
let this
think I think he
be?
doesn't care if he's. I don't think he cares about the result as much as just sort of entertaining himself with this.
I think it comes up her side then.
Okay.
She says, "Ha! See, we all agreed. So let's go find them and get out of here."
I didn't agree. If you
You-
make one sound,
You didn't
there,
stop him from flipping the button. Emma
that doesn't mean
says.
I have to abide by the result.
Emma says to Maradi, "I think you better step in and deal with this situation."
Me? Okay, Mahara. Listen, if they find us, if they find you, you're going to be in as much trouble as we are.
This is a good appeal to reason, I think. Go ahead and roll with, or go ahead and let's do a risk roll. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail? Or actually, everybody else gets to say what could happen if you fail.
I'm just gonna say it again. She socks you in the face and runs off.
I think maybe like this is taking too long and the adults just come upon you.
Or we're just making too much noise.
Yeah,
arguing
exactly.
and squabbling.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about dice. Do you have a skill that'll help you here?
Persistence?
I don't know. That feels like a bit of a stretch. Devil's bargains, though. I will say that no matter what, in this moment, one of those fat berry suckling spiders will crawl out of Mahara's mouth.
I'm gonna say no matter what. No matter what, you see a sign pointing towards something that relates to who your parents were. You don't. You can define it how you recognize it, but yeah.
Yeah, I like that. The sign of the parents.
Rob, do you have an offer?
I don't think I have anything right now.
Jack, say yours again, so I make sure I have it.
No matter what, he sees a sign that points to something about his parents, some kind of secret or something like that.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Interesting. You have 2 light dice. Go ahead, Maradi. Or no, 1 light die. You only got 1.
Should I reroll or
Yeah, you should probably reroll.
a 4?
Okay. I'm going to make my devil's bargain the complication. If you don't want to deal with that, you have to add a dark die.
Nope, that's good.
She says, "You have a point, Maradi. I know when I've been outmaneuvered. We press forward in the bramble, and we stay hidden from this group of adults for now. And she gets this like funny look on her face. Like, oh. And this is just where you can see it, Maradi. She's like, I feel something funny. Something funny on my tongue. And she sticks her tongue out, and you see one of those spiders on the end of it has sunk its mandibles into the tip of her tongue and is sucking the blood from it. Please roll ruin.
2. He's fine.
You're keeping it together. What do you do?
I think he'll just kind of snatch it off her tongue with one hand and with the other cover her mouth so that she doesn't screech. And just say, I got it. It's fine. It's fine.
She's like, what was it? What was happening?
A leaf.
These adult interlopers are stirring up the bramble all around with their machetes. The bramble is agitating. This is your first sign that the bramble is indeed alive, or at least not alive in the way a plant should be alive, but animated alive. Each of you describe the first thing you see as the bramble becomes agitated by the machetes that lets you know, oh, this is a sentient moving thing.
I think it starts to twist and thicken up around where we are. So, which is unnerving because, it may be harder for us to get out of it, but at the same time, it's making it so thick in our location that it makes it unlikely that the adults are going to come directly this way.
I think we also see the branches after they've cut through them. They're starting to gather and not repair themselves, but as if they're preparing for a retaliation from behind.
It's nothing that Sarah sees, and I don't think most people would be able to recognize it, but I think because he's a child of the forest, he can pick up on it. But he smells something, and it's the way it's almost the way that these fragrances are used to communicate between plants. He can hear, or rather smell, this sort of distress call coming from them. It's almost as if they're begging, pleading for help.
I would like for Mardo and Maradi to roll Ruin.
Still doing okay.
6.
Maradi got a 1. Mardo got a 6. Mardo, you're going up to 4. Mardo, where's your sister in the scene?
I think she's in the path of where the adults are heading, so that and I suddenly get the impression that these are not the nice, safe, helpful type of adults, and that she might actually be in danger.
Indeed, you overhear. You can. The group is close enough now to where you can hear a little bit more about their constitution. The person in the lead is a fellow named Damek, because the others who are not in the lead keep saying, Damek, we should turn back. You strange old coot. We shouldn't be doing this, especially on the day of the festival. It's not just dangerous, but it's a heresy. And Damek ignores that man and roars a defiant curse into the bramble. I have seen the heart of you. Though my memory dims with age, I will see it again, damn you. The bramble writhes in anger at Damek's curse. But for a moment, in its writhing, the group of you sees a clear path, at the end of which is a splendid gate of thorns and enticing berries.
Is that the direction they're heading?
They don't know it yet. No, this opened up for you. They're still carving their way
Mm-hmm.
through. But as the bramble writhed in anger, it revealed this path to you.
This is the gate. This is the gate that that the other traveler told me about.
You know that this gate is dangerous, Macero. If you intentionally leave the group in there, it's a reduction roll.
Oh yeah.
Go for it.
It's a 1.
Your betrayal goes unnoticed. So do you all go to the path that's been opened up?
Yeah, I think Maradi will show the others how to effectively sneak closer.
Hmm.
I think Marto, before heading that way, tries to stand up and make himself seen by his sister and indicate to her the direction she should head to get away from the adults and toward where we're going.
When you stand up, you see that your sister's eyes are missing. They have been replaced by pulped blackberry oozing out of the sockets. Please make a ruin roll.
Somehow I'm okay with that.
Well, how do you feel? I mean, just because your ruin's going up doesn't mean you don't feel bad or feel unnerved.
Yeah, I think just there's a clutching in his chest as he wonders, is this really his sister? Or is this something the bramble is showing him to lure him deeper? And with a last look, he'll kind of scurry off after the others.
Indeed, indeed. Warbling vireos fill a large berry bush as you pass it. These birds peck not berries, but at the eyes of an unfortunate member of their flock. Everyone make a ruin roll, and then that will conclude ring 2.
Two.
Maradi killing it on the ruin rolls.
3.
6, I'm up again.
You are now up to 5, Marto. You are now able to do the reduction roll along with Macero. Although Macero is at starting ruin, so technically Macero can't do it anymore, but unless it goes up again. So passes ring 2. Ring 3. After fighting your way past the deep brambles, the dense foliage thins out. A path, faint and natural, twists towards the heart of the patch. The sweet scent of crushed blackberries gives way to the sickly scent of rot. Tiny adders slither about your feet, climbing the bushes and vines all around you. You see a gate. A gate in the middle of the thickest wall-like part of the bramble. Twisted and entwined about this portal is an ancient and decrepit viper, the bramble's gatekeeper. Its milky eyes shine in the shadowed bramble, but for all its squirming, it is trapped. Time has embedded vines and thorns in its flesh. Every ripple of muscle underneath its hide echoes with a spasm of pain and a dribble of blood. Let's see if we lose Marto here. Everybody roll ruin. Marto got a 1. Sarah got a 1. Roddy, what you
I got
got?
a 3.
Does that mean you're going up?
Yes.
So, Maradi, how do you feel upon seeing this injured, trapped adder, the so-called gatekeeper of the bramble?
I think at first he thinks it's just another branch twisted and misshapen with time, until it dawns on him what it is, and his his kind of gorge rises, he pales, and he turns to run because that is a snake and he cannot bear it.
I think Mahara is like just frozen in fear. Maradi runs. Mahara's frozen in fear. Emma's walking closer to it, naturally. Mardo and Massaro, what are you doing?
Sarah's not too far behind Emma, and there's this look of horror on his face, but not because it's a snake, but because of what's happening to the snake. I think that he, on realizing how much pain the snake is in, he just starts to approach it and tries to find out where its head is and tries to get a beat on where what its expression is.
Mardo, what are you doing?
Massaro, is this the gate you were telling us about?
Without looking back at you, because I think he's still concerned about the snake, he just sort of goes, "Yes, this is the one."
And what are we supposed to do now?
I don't know. We have to help the snake first, and maybe it will tell us.
I think that snake might be beyond helping.
That's not a nice thing to say. Come on, you can help us.
Oh, leave it be.
We can't. This is like a brother to me. This is one of the forest's children. We can't just leave it behind like this.
I think the kindest thing would be to put it out of its misery, don't you think?
No.
It's bleeding, it's trapped.
We can untrap it.
It's too
Maradi.
badly injured.
I'm going to cut over to Maradi. Maradi, you run. You don't get far before an adult arm swings down and scoops you up. By the voice, it is that man, Damek. He says, "Well, well, little one. What are you doing so deep in the bramble, hmm?"
I'm, he'll kind of look back, see if any turns.
You'll notice that the
Nothing.
path that the group went in is closed up again. Where did you come from?
From town.
No, where were you running from?
From town. I must have gotten turned around. Put me down.
I think not. I think you are lying to me, little boy. This man has wild eyes, crazy, like a crazy bush of hair that goes in all directions, stuck with bramble thorns and detritus from the woods. He has a group of people with him who are taking this opportunity to take a break. You can tell they fucking hate this guy, but there's about half a dozen of them. They're there cracking open their blackberry ale while Damek deals with you. No, no, no. You have the look of someone who has seen something. What did you see?
A dead man. There's a dead man.
Really?
Yes.
Someone who earned the ire of the bramble, no doubt, who was seeking the heart of it, even though they were not invited?
Maybe. Yes.
You're lying to me,
No.
boy.
No. I'm telling the truth. I saw a dead man.
One of the others says, "He's an orphan. Everyone knows orphans lie." He's like, "Yes, everyone knows orphans lie. You are telling lies, orphan boy."
No, I'm not. He's going to fix the man with the gaze and he says, "I see a dead man right now. I'm going to use my ritual."
Which is?
Impertinent phrase. Speak truth into being.
Oh, who are you going to kill? Damek?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I love it. This is, of course, a risk roll. Everybody else gets to say what could go wrong here.
I think Darmek realizes that you're trying to curse him and will not treat you like a child, but as something much more dangerous.
I think you kill one of the others instead, and then earn a rebuke from Dominic.
Mine's a bit of a play on what Rob said. I think that he realizes that you're trying to cast a ritual and takes a knife to you to make sure you can't speak.
Oof. These are all interesting outcomes if it should come to that. You do have, do you have relevant skill here?
I'm kind of hoping my drive to defy authority will.
Yeah, it can bring in
Count here.
persistence. Yeah, I think that'll work for me. You have a light die. I'll offer the devil's bargain. The devil's bargain is you do kill Dominic, but the others take you prisoner. Any other offers?
You kill
It's a really
Dominic,
good one.
but you, upon killing him,
Or I
make
should say,
an
no
off-
matter what, you are taken prisoner by the others.
Mhm.
Yeah, no matter what, you kill Dominic successfully, but then you rifle through his body, and upon rifling through it, you find out that he's family.
So put devil's bargain. No matter what, you learn Dominic is family.
Mhm.
That is nasty, and I like it.
Yeah. Do you have a Robin offer?
I don't think I can top those two. Those are very good.
You've got, sounds like you like that one. Dominic is family. You've got 2 light dice and do a dark die for the ritual.
Light 6.
Light 6. We'll come back to this scene. The snake.
So I have something to offer Marto, and this is sort of across the table, but I do have the ritual that will allow me to take ruin from someone to put it onto myself, and I would like to see if I could use that ritual as part of like a bargain to get Marto to help me save this viper.
Marto, do you want
Right.
to make a deal?
How's that going to work?
Interesting question. I think as we're looking it over, Macero turns to Marto and he goes, I know that you're in pain, Marto, and it will be our secret. I can help you, though. But we have to help this snake. We have to help him. If you do help him, I can make you feel a lot better.
It's just a snake, Macero. Why do you care so much?
Why don't you care?
You think it can help us? Is that it?
Yes.
You think it knows something?
I do. You just have to trust me. And he'll put his hand on your shoulder. And I think this is when he goes to try and cast the ritual. The importance of sharing.
It just works. You just take the ruin.
Yeah.
And you lower your ruin, Marto. Marto, how do you feel better about this situation? How do you feel like you're regaining control here? Or how's it reflected in what your sister looks like when she appears in the scene?
I think something. I think he sees the sister also kind of caught in brambles, caught in the tangle of thorny branches, and something in his mind draws an equivalence between that and the snake. And he realizes that maybe they should help the snake after all, because that's, after all, what he's here to do, is to help his sister come back.
The snake speaks. Its clouded, milky eyes. You're still a little ways away from it. Emma is still probably the closest. But it speaks. Please. Please bring me something to eat, clever young masters. I am hungry. And the little animals don't come to me anymore to help me in my plight. I am thirsty, but not a bug nor a rat will share their blood with me. Help me, and I will open the gate for you. Emma steps back. She says, I don't believe we should help this snake. Mahara looks terrified. Mardo and Macero make the ruin roll.
Two.
You're muted, Macero.
5.
Are you going up, Macero?
It puts me at 6, unless I have a chance to do reduction before that.
Well, because weren't you at 3?
No, I was at 4.
Oh.
And I took his and got to 5.
Poor Macero. Emma looks at you, Macero, and says, I think this is why you are here, Macero. The snake must feed for us to progress deeper into the bramble. You want to help it, so you should step forward. Did we lose Jack right at that moment? Okay. We'll just take a 3-minute break while we wait on Jack to come back. Okay, so Jack, we lost you there at the end. Emma says, I think that's why you were brought, or I think it's why you came. You were here. You were meant to help us get deeper into the bramble. You want to help the snake, so you should step forward and help the snake.
Miss Sarah looks up at Mardo and notices that Maradi is not around. But Maradi's not here. He's not going to be able to come through. And then I think he cuts himself off, looking back at the snake and realizing what this means. And he looks down to Emma and says, okay. And he'll turn and start to slowly walk up towards the viper. And he'll find where the head is. And he'll look it in the eyes and says, hello, brother.
Oh, I thought I recognized you. I remember seeing you scampering about, sometimes on all fours, like the prey of the woods, but sometimes on 2 legs as you do now. Do you come before me here on 2 legs or 4, brother?
When Viper asks that, he considers what that means. And he says, 2 legs for now.
No matter. You all eat the same. I shall give you back to the woods, little brother, and I'll make the transition as painless as possible.
He closes his eyes, and the others just start to watch as his body begins to break and shift and shrink into a small white rabbit.
At this point, I would like for everyone to talk about how sacrifice of Macero to the bramble allows the scoundrel's quarter ruin to decrease by 1. Bringing it down to 2.
I think unexpectedly several branches that have encroached into the scoundrel's quarter start to blossom with flowers and then blackberries. And as people pick them, the branches and trees recede back into the forest as if it had just been waiting to offer them this bounty.
And as we see those branches shrinking back, a little white rabbit just comes bounding out of the forest edge and disappears into an alleyway at the edge of Fort Duran.
Jack is going to make Mahara into the character that he'll be playing. So we'll check in with Maradi. Maradi, you succeed with 6 light. You will kill this man, Damek, but at an interesting bargain cost. First of all, describe what that looks like when you kill him.
I think when he speaks the words that I'm looking at a dead man right now, the pupils of his eyes seem to expand until it's just blackness. And as they kind of shrink back to normal, Damek takes a gasping breath and clutches at his chest, dropping Maradi before collapsing to the forest floor. And as he does, his jacket kind of flaps open, and we see I think it's a handkerchief with a crest on it, and it's a family crest, a very old family crest that Maradi recognizes as one that he saw a lot as a very young child in his home. And he'll reach down, kind of look at it, and his hands will shake a little bit. And then he'll look at Damek and say, "Oh, I missed you the first time."
I think the other men that came with him, they see what you've done, and one of them says, "I didn't care much for blackberries anyway. Never have. Not likely ever to. Come on, boys." And they turn and they march back the way they came. In another part of the bramble, you hear people calling for Marto. Marto! Marto! Boy, where are you? But they're still a little ways off.
I think Mahara instinctively, after seeing this weird transformation of Macero into this rabbit and the viper devouring it, I think she instinctively tries to run off towards the direction of that sound, of those voices.
You're probably, well, so that's the thing. The way is blocked, right?
Yeah, I think when she turns around and notices that it's blocked, she just starts to back away and thinks she's like shaking at this point. She backs into Marto.
Tell us more about Mahara, since that's your character you're playing now.
Yeah.
Upbringing, personality, drive.
Yeah, so her Mahara, her upbringing is part of a nomadic caravan. So she has skills in foraging, lore, and repair. I think she's also a leader, much like Marta. So her skill is also bullying. Her drive is to solve the mystery. And she has a ritual, no matter the size, which is to perform an incredible feat of strength.
Oh, interesting. Emma calls out the adder. We have given you what you asked for. Now open the way. And the adder smiles its serpentine smile and says, Of course. I am a creature of my word. I do hope if you manage to make your way back from the heart of the bramble, that you'll stop by and say goodbye to me on your way out. And as the snake's coiled body, as it moves through this gate, it actually operates the machinery of the gate. And as its body sort of like slides off to one side, the machinery whirs and clicks and clangs, and the gate parts.
Mahara, Emma, let's go.
What about Maradi?
What about Maradi?
Well-
Maradi, you know which way you came, but the bramble is grown over again. What do you do?
I think he will take Domek's blade or machete and carefully start retracing his steps to try and find his friends.
I think I'm just going to keep you separated for a bit, but you'll eventually be able to catch up. Maybe. Well, I mean, we'll see. Beyond the serpent's portal, the blackberries gain a fluorescent quality and illuminate a tunnel that plunges into the bramble's heart. It is now very dark. Motes of friendly light bounce within, beckoning you. And now you can all hear the soft song of the brambles, maddeningly indecipherable to everyone but Emma, who smiles and sways. As you make your way into the tunnel, Maradi, you're not there yet. A melancholy wind whips across the bramble, sending a shower of thorns on you. But you continue hacking. And so passes ring 3. Ring 4. The fluorescent passage, lit by luminescent berries, moves you into a twisted cavern. The walls and ceiling of this cavern are all made with bramble. Thin blue light captures the forms of playing children. The town forgot these children. Yet they go about their games, smashing blackberries and scooping up the black goo to deposit in a slow-moving stream that drains into the center of the clearing. The lady of the bramble speaks, entices you to play with the other children. She is an imposing figure made of twisting vines and white petals. Where her waist meets the wall of bramble, her form melts into the foliage. It squirms and shifts, carrying her around the edge of the thorny, twisted cavern. I would like for Marto and Mahara to make ruin rolls, please.
That's a 1.
A 1 and a 2. How are you feeling, though, when you see all this?
I think Mahara has been just sort of barely holding on the entire time. She didn't want to be here in the first place, and now that she's deeper in this and she's seen all this horror, this is just one to add to the pile of horrific things that she's seen today. And so I think that despite her her tough exterior, I think she's trying to keep close to Marto and Emma. And I think if they looked at her for too long, they would notice that she's shivering.
I think Marto feels like, well, this is horrible, but it couldn't happen to him. He's too important.
And yet, there is your sister playing with the other children. She looks at you, Marto, and says, Marto, join us in the game. And she scoops up blackberry juice and pours it into this like little stream draining into the center of this cave-like space. You can see the blackberry juice flowing down, funneling down. She scoops up more, puts it in. I would like the ruin roll just from you, Marto.
3.
3. What do you do?
I walk towards her slowly and say, Marga, I came to bring you back. I came to find you.
But I do not want to go back, though I did want to be found. I want you to stay here with me. There's nothing for you back home.
You've been gone for a long time, Marga.
Yes. Father did not send out a search party for me. Meanwhile, Marto's father's search party is making pretty good progress in the deep bramble. They're better equipped. They have more purpose. They're not being led by a madman. And you're about to cross paths with them. What do you do? You can meet up with them. You can try to avoid them. Try to turn them away, I suppose.
I would know that this was sent for Marto.
They're calling out his name.
Okay. I think he's going to throw a rock in the wrong direction and call out, he went that way.
Very good. Make the risk roll. Jack, what could go wrong here?
They don't believe him, and they keep going, and they come towards you and find you.
Do you have a skill that will help you out here?
Hoping sneaking will count.
I'll take it. Yeah, it's in the same spirit, I think. Devil's Bargain.
I have an idea for one.
Go for it, Rob.
No matter what, whether they believe you or not about whether he went that way, they will scoop you up and take you with them.
Oh.
I have an idea for one too.
Go ahead.
No matter what, the rock that you throw to distract them, it had one of those spiders on it, and it bites you before you throw it.
I don't have an offer.
I think I'll go with the spider.
Too light. Go for it.
5.
Yeah, I like it. I think the complication is just going to be that The spider bite's going to induce a ruin roll. Go ahead and make that.
2.
Okay.
So
Give us a scene, though. How do you get them off your trail?
I think he will get as low to the ground as he can and listen for a time to determine which way they're actually going. And once it's clear that they are a threat, he'll root around in the forest floor until he finds a rock of the right size, not even noticing the spider as it crawls onto the back of his hand. And he will just whip it in an arc away from himself, away from the correct path. And once he can hear the attention turning in that direction, he'll cover his mouth and say, "I heard him that way." And then very quickly start crawling back towards his proper path. And it's then that he sees the spider and he freezes, but it's not enough. And he watches as it sinks its mandibles into the back of his hand. And he just very quickly starts rubbing it against the dirt to dislodge it, trying his best not to make any noise.
I think you crawl with your spider bite to the gate that is still open. The adder is there, coiled up on one side. And it says, "Well, you are a child of the bramble now. It has quite literally sunk its teeth into you. As a child of the bramble, you must listen to my parley."
He's very clearly distressed about the snake, but he will just kind of give a little shaky nod.
"I want the girl who can hear the song that the bramble sings. She will try to stay. She will try to stay with the lady of the bramble, but you will convince her to come back with you. And in exchange for this gift, I will make you my child. You will have a home with me. I will be the father and the mother you never had before." I want to ruin roll just from this transaction.
3. Still good.
Maradi, a stoic little boy. What do you do?
He'll seriously consider it and say, "No bedtime."
Of course not. The nighttime is when we do our most edifying family activities.
"I will bring her."
He allows you to pass through the gate. Let's pick up with the lady of the bramble. She comes over to you, Mehera, this woman who moves about the bramble wall. It sort of moves her. She's sort of part of it. She, as previously described, she's an imposing figure made of twisting vines herself and white petals. She says, "Don't you want to stay here with me, little girl?"
No, I want to go home.
"But you are home."
This is not my home.
Here you can play and laugh all day. You will have songs to sing. You will have my soothing touch. She touches you with her thorny hand. And you'll have all the blackberries you can eat. Stay with us. Stay with the other children.
I have a family back home. And they're looking for me. They're looking for all of us. And 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 you don't have a tender touch. It's sharp and feels like wood.
But if you don't stay with me, you won't be able to learn what really lies at the heart of the bramble. It is just beneath our feet.
Mahara, her stomach drops at that, realizing that she's touched on the one thing that can keep her going, which is that promise of solving a mystery. And she looks down at her feet and looks at the soil beneath, and there's this moment where everything sort of fades out except for sound of the wind and the children with laughter that they carry on with. And she looks back at Emma. And what's Emma doing?
Emma's playing with the other kids. She's playing with the other
Yeah.
kids. She's
See,
smeared with blackberry juice.
yeah, realizing
She's
that
totally
she's
into
now
it.
realizing that she's now alone. That Mardo's talking to some hole in the wall, and the other kids are running around covering themselves in blackberry jam. She realizes that she's, despite the fact that she's feels very independent, she's also driven, and she doesn't want to be alone. And says, "Fine, I'm not staying here. Not forever, anyway.
Make the
I have
ruin
a real
roll.
mom."
Make the ruin roll.
3.
3 matches your ruin. You're fine. She says, well, maybe you'll change your mind after you've been here a while. It will be your choice after all.
You promise?
Yes. But until the time to decide, scoop up a handful of the juice and drink.
Yes, but you promise that I can go at any time that I want to.
She smiles beatifically and spreads her hand towards a clump of berries.
Mahara is suspicious, but looks at the blackberries, and they're glistening. They're sumptuous. They're juicy, and
They glow blue.
yeah, and it's hard to resist. And I think she goes, "Well, fine, just one," and she'll just take one. And when she puts it in her mouth, it's just this explosion of flavor, the likes that she's never experienced before, and it's so sweet. And she just compulsively picks up another, and I think her suspicion starts to melt away as she starts to just get engulfed in flavor, and she wanders off and just continues to pick at the blackberries, and then scuttles over to Emma.
Make another ruin roll.
5.
So you're going up now. I haven't given you a condition yet. Your condition is one of the little kids who you can realize now as you walk among them are kind of like spirits. They're somewhat incorporeal. I think it clings to you since you are a natural leader and almost like it's clinging to you for protection. Mardo, what are you doing right now? Your sister is entreating you to stay.
Perhaps if I stay for a little while, then you'll come home with me afterward.
Yes.
Father hasn't been the same since you've gone. He's so scared all the time and doesn't let me do anything. That's why I had to sneak away up here to find you.
She points towards the glowing, iridescent berries and invites you to eat. She says, yes, that's all true. Eat the berries, Marto. Celebrate with us. There's time to think about the future later.
He'll take a berry.
Make a ruin roll.
Oh.
Okay, so your stays. Maradi, you eventually come upon this scene. Everything's as I've described it. You might have even been milling around for a little bit. You do see Emma and Mahara and this other third child who we haven't seen yet, who's with their little group. What do you do?
He's going to walk right up to Mahara and say, I'm not an orphan anymore.
Oh, who adopted you?
Would you like to meet her? Him?
Well,
Them?
where are they?
Just outside the gate.
Okay. Did you see the snake though?
Yes.
And it just let you in.
I'm not scared of it anymore.
Well, I don't think we can leave just yet. We have to wait for Mardo, and there's plenty of blackberries here. And I think she just scoops up another and just shoves it into her mouth. Really good.
Just for just to keep everything proper here, Maradi, make a ruin roll for seeing this, the lair of the Lady of the Bramble.
He's okay. It's a 3.
3. Maradi's stoic boy. Emma is the one that the snake wants, though.
Yes.
Emma says, you should stay and eat the berries, Maradi. I don't know what happened to you out there, but it's all lies. You know that. Stay here and eat the fruit with us. Can't you hear the berries singing?
He'll
It
look
really
at
is
Mahara.
good, Marta. It really is good, Maradi.
Maybe later. Emma, do you want to meet someone?
Who?
My new parent.
But what could they possibly have to show me that's more amazing than this?
Do they have blackberries?
Oh, probably, yeah. More than this. We can all go.
Emma, she kind of sighs and says, I think you're lying to me, Maradi, but I'm going to go with you anyway, because I think this is what the Bramble wants.
Yeah, but if you're lying, we're gonna beat you up.
That's
I
right.
hardly ever lie.
That's a lie already.
Yeah, but you believe me.
I
So use that
tolerate you.
ritual.
Oh.
Oh, very good. I don't think we need to. Oh, well, it is a contest roll, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the stakes are, either Mahara believes or doesn't believe. Is that essentially it? Or we could go one
think
further
so,
and
yeah.
say, we can make the stakes Emma leaves or doesn't leave. I think that's probably a better calibration of stakes. Like whether you get Emma out or not feels like the right move here. Let's look at the contest roll. When treasure hunters act against each other, we agree what's at stake. Take a light die if you have a skill that will help you. What do we think?
I mean, I'm a natural leader, so bullying, I don't know if it would help, but I mean, I feel like my force of personality
Yeah, I'll
would,
take it. Maradi, persistence.
Persistence.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And maybe brawling if it comes to it. um, you both have one light die. Let's keep going. One light die for each mark of ruin. So Maradi, you are at 4, and Mahara, you are at 5. And then a dark die if it's inherently dangerous. I think it is, because I think that the Lady of the Bramble might get involved. In addition to any violence that might happen between the two of you. So that is now Maradi 4-1 and Mahara 5-1. And then as many additional dark dice as you're willing to risk. We're looking for 6s. 1s on the dark dice, increase your ruin. 1 per. When you have your dice locked in, let me know.
Ready.
Ready. Roll. So Mahara has got 2 6s. Mahara risked an additional 3 dark dice and got 2 6s and a 1 on one of the dark dice. So Mahara, your ruin does go up to 5. And you do win the contest, though, because Maradi only got 1 6, and Maradi's ruin also goes up by 1. Maradi also only risked 1 or 2 extra dark dice. So Maradi, your ruin goes up to 4. And Mahara, you save Emma. What does it look like?
So I think Mahara being part of a nomadic caravan, I think she's accustomed to being in the company of scammers, of liars, of people who use these kind of rituals to get what they want. And so I think when she sees the telltale signs of that being cast, I think she also invokes her own ritual, which is no matter the size. And I think she does finally get to sock someone in the face. This person being Maradi, as he starts to intone the spell, she immediately just clenches her fist and balls it up and slams it into his jaw.
I love it. The whole situation is interrupted when you hear Maradi, your new parent, crying out in raspy pain and terror as the gate is torn asunder, as Mardo's father's house guard tromp through the tunnel, calling after Mardo. Mardo! Mardo! The bramble reacts to this intrusion violently. Indeed, the Lady of the Bramble reacts violently. Everyone please describe how the Lady of the Bramble dispatches Mardo's father's men.
There's a moment where the thorns on her body, made of this sort of branchy sinew, start to kind of extend, and her arms unravel into this sort of spray of twisting vines and tendrils that engulf a few of the men, constricting them, piercing them with those large thorns, and just sort of like squeezing them like fruit.
From along those branches run thousands upon thousands of the spiders. So many they swarm across several of the hunters and drag them with so many bites. They're driven to the ground and swarmed across until they disappear entirely.
And from each site of these spider bites, there's a burst of green and white, and then the shimmering black as a berry blooms from their wounds.
Everyone make a ruin roll. Mahara, you may not make it to ring 5, depending on what you get.
I got a 5, so Marto's ruin goes up.
Maradi got a 6, so Maradi's also going up to 5.
I got a 2.
Mahara got a 2, so you're all at 5. A hole opens up in the sucking pit where the blackberry goo is draining. revealing a drenched and barren field beneath. You, the three of you and Emma, are all sucked down this hole into this subterranean space. Down in this subterranean space, there is a bramble topiary of a boy sitting in the center of this underground field, beneath the pulsing heart of the blackberry bramble. A ball of snakes, writhing in ecstasy, blocks the path between you and the topiary boy. So passes ring 4. We'll pick up with ring 5 next week. Let's go to Stars and Wishes.
This is fun. Yeah, I've never played this one before. I don't think I've ever seen it in play before. But I mean, creepy kids is always sort of a fun horror trope. And yeah, it hit a lot of marks for me. I just overall star for the incursion and the vibes. Marathi is well, Massera was very overtly creepy. Marathi is very kind of like stealth creepy. That end of Demic when you said, "Oh, I forgot you," definitely hints at some really sinister things that I'm excited to see. That I hopefully, and this is part of a wish that I hope to see sort of come out in Ring 5, because that was a really cool moment. Rob, you do a very good posh little piece of shit child. Very high marks for the authenticity there. And yeah, Jason, I love it's the I know that all the incursions always kind of come with a theme and there's always a motif, but you have a really good way of just kind of drawing them out in these really creepy ways. And with your narrations, really making them sort of come alive and make them feel very like very real. And star because I finally got to sock someone in the face, or Mahara did, which is what I've been getting for the whole time. But yeah, wish. My wish, yeah, I don't really have any other wishes other than to see how this ends and see where we end up and after this as treasure hunters back to Scoundrel's Quarter.
I really enjoyed this session. I have also never. I was aware of this incursion, but I'd never really looked at it in any detail, and I've never watched an actual play of it or anything. So it's, yeah, it was all new to me, and that's always fun and exciting. And I really like the vibe of the child characters. It really reminds me of a movie I'm trying to put my finger on, and I can't figure out what it is. There were some great moments. I really loved when Marathi said, "Oh, I see a dead man in front of me," and that was the reveal of him using his ritual. That was great. And Massero with his kind of the way he dealt with that dead body was like, it was like, imagine Stand By Me, but then it just keeps getting creepier and creepier when they find the dead body. And yeah, it was really fun. I enjoyed. I had a blast playing this character. I think my wish is I want to figure out a way to get my ritual into play. I was going to use it on the snake, but then the opportunity never really came up.
Like the others, I'm only familiar with this from putting the options in the keeper, and it's cool to actually play it. This was one of the ones I didn't think I'd ever get the opportunity to play. So this is a surprise and cool. This was a lot of fun. I really thought the way that Massero was dispatched was just such a good trophy moment. It was perfect in its creepiness and its surreality, and the way you worked the rabbit into the Scoundrel's Quarter after was great. Mardo is I am really looking forward to seeing how Marto deals with everything that has happened, especially with this search party now. The way you're playing off the sister is great. And that's going to be fun to see how it shakes out. We're all at 5. Who's going down the gullet next?
Oh yeah, that's one thing I forgot to give a start for, was Jason weaving my drive into the things really effectively. That was great.
Yeah, I had a wonderful time. I've run Blackberry Jam a few times, and this was a really, really good run of it. I made the intentional decision to not do my normal 2-session trophy dark thing. I usually stop at ring 2 and then do ring 3, 4, and 5 in the second one, because I kind of felt like a story with kids, with drives that are not, the stakes are not super high and epic. And I wanted to feel more like a shorter kind of like folk tale or fairy tale kind of vibe. I thought like getting as much done in one session made a lot of sense. And I think that was the right move. It kept the energy really high. It kept the focus really, like the focus was really tight. And I loved it. I thought it was really, really great fun. We had a great cliffhanger ending, and so I'm really happy to see where that goes. I love playing the characters in this. Dominic and the Snake are both really fun to play, and the Lady of the Bramble. And so, yeah, just a really good time. Star as well to Ira, who wrote the incursions, a very good incursion. And also, Star, I'm really happy that we kind of got back to this like elemental trophiness, right? Like, not that Rhyme Palace is not that, but this is like trophy, right? Like it's kids, which also is, there's a certain irony to that, I think. But it was kind of fun to get back into this. And also I kind of really enjoyed the gold stuff too, the little bit that we did. Like it was all very kind of lethargic and, kind of had a laziness to it, which I really liked, as, a drowsiness that kind of led right into this. And so I just thought it all flowed really well. And individual stars, yeah, well, I love the M's. I don't know if that was all intentional or not, but all the characters having M names, and then Emma, that was really, really funny. Quite enjoyed are all the name options M's in the character creation?
No, we kind of
just
I think
did that.
2 of us have picked them at the beginning, and then someone mentioned it, and it became a thing. Yeah.
Well, Mahara and Emma are the 2 characters from the incursion, so it all worked out great. Loved all that. I thought it was really fun. I love the rabbit thing. It was so good. I loved kind of Maradi's little side story, and kind of because that really like increased the overall like drama and stakes of the situation, all the stuff that Maradi was doing. So I really, really love that. And I thought Rob, you just did a great job of playing Marto. Like Marto was I could see this character. I knew this character. And it was really fun kind of bouncing back and forth with Marto and Mahara when I was playing Mahara. And so, really, really good time. I'm just excited to, we'll wrap this up pretty early next week, and then we'll dive right back in with Trophy Gold. So just looking forward to that. Anything else before we go?
Just brief Star for the premise. You always kind of keep coming up with these different interesting ways to incorporate us into dark.
Stuff,
and I thought the idea, and I thought like the idea of us just kind of like going and hanging out at a Blackberry Fest, and oh wait, no, there's these kids who are wandering off, and this is their story. It's really fun.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, let's wave goodbye. Goodbye.